Republicans have been pretty intransigent about any kind of tax hikes, but Democrats feel there's room to do so. Which side will give in? Joining me now for Claimant's Moneymaker, we are pleased to welcome Delaware Senator Tom Carper. Welcome, sir. We appreciate you being here.
Hi, Liz.
We had David Stockman, who, of course, was the budget director for President Reagan, sitting on the set yesterday, and he said you have to add some type of tax hikes in certain regards, but he's not a decider at this point. You and your Republican brethren and the rest of the Democrats are the ones. Are we going to see a massive impasse over this, or do you see some bit of wiggle room here?
Well, ironically, David Stockman, when he was budget director in 1982, was part of a negotiation when Ronald Reagan was our president to raise taxes by several hundred billions of dollars in order to try to close the deficit gap then. The last guy who actually led a successful negotiations for deficit reduction in Washington was Erskine Bowles, and he did it in 1997 at the behest. He was then chief of staff to President Clinton, as you'll recall. And they came up with a deficit reduction deal that actually balanced the budget not once, not twice, not three times, but 4 years in a row. And it was a combination of spending cuts across the board, entitlement programs, defense, domestic, and revenues, about roughly 50-50. And Erskine Bowles and, as you know, Alan Simpson have led a similar negotiation last year, and they've recommended to us that we reduce the deficit by about $4 trillion over 10 years, $3 on the spending side, $1 on the revenue side, not by raising rates, but by eliminating some of the tax breaks, the tax expenditures, which total $15 trillion over the next 10 years. If we just trim those by 10%, that would be $1.5 trillion, which is about a third of what we need for a serious deficit reduction plan.
So do you think in a way that the opportunity will rise by saying we won't do tax hikes, we'll just eliminate tax breaks? Would some Republicans that you've spoken with go for that?
Well, some would. What I hear from most of my Republican brethren is not interested in raising rates. And but I think everybody knows in $15 trillion worth of tax expenditures, tax breaks, tax deductions, and so forth, tax credits, there's got to be some that are less worthy than others. Tax expenditures are really another way to spend money out of the Treasury. We call them tax expenditures as opposed to spending, but they're really spending by another name. And again, out of $15 trillion in tax expenditures, we need to find about 10%. We don't have to raise rates, but if we look hard down that list and find a combination that doesn't really help us encourage people to do, companies to do R&D, doesn't encourage investment in the infrastructure, doesn't encourage development of our workforce.
Okay, now, you know, the defense issue. We now start to hear people on both sides finally say that there is room to cut defense spending. Certainly, you, of course, were a naval hero. You were a captain, did 3 tours in Vietnam. How do you feel about cutting defense?
Well, I don't know that I was a naval hero. I love being in the Navy, and I love doing it for about 23 years.
You're a hero. It's good enough for us.
You're nice to say that. But if you look, you know, GAO, the Government Accountability Office, gives us a whole, like a shopping list of places that we can save money. One of the places that they recommend is major weapon systems cost overruns. Last year, it was $402 billion. $402 billion. There's any number of places we can save money. The Department of Defense does not fully report their improper payments. Government-wide, it's about $125 billion. There's probably another 10 or 20 or 30 billion right there alone for the Department of Defense. What we need to do is to change our culture from a culture of spendthrift to a culture of thrift. We need to look in every nook and cranny of the federal government, defense programs, defense spending.
Isn't that what Simpson Bowles did? Isn't that what Simpson Bowles did? And everybody said it's great, everything should be on the table, but then nobody stepped up to the plate to just say implement it.
Well, actually, my hope is the president will step up to the plate. It's his commission. He appointed the 2 chairs. And the president needs to be the adult in the room and come and say, look, Democrats, we're going to have to consider something on entitlements.
Has he at this point? Has he done that,
on
in
revenues.
your opinion, at this point, the president?
I think the president can do more, and my hope is that he will as we get closer to July 4th, July 5th, July 6th. My hope is that he will.
It's close. Listen, Senator, thank you for joining us on this Friday. We do appreciate it.
My pleasure, Liz. Come and see us in Delaware. Thanks so much.
I'd love to.
I-95 Easy Pass open today.
Okay, I have an Easy Pass,
Highway
Senator.
Speed Easy Pass open today.
Okay, we'll bring the entire newsroom.
You'll come through Delaware, you'll zip right through. You'll zip right through, but you might want to stop. So.
Thank you, Senator Tom Carper, who's also a naval captain, served. So thank you for your service on this 4th of July weekend. Thanks so much.